In the vibrant world of TikTok, where creativity knows no bounds and new stars are born every day, there exists a shadowy side that hardly makes the spotlight.
The first night he asked me to come over, it was a Thursday, and I said no because I had school the next day.
I found out that she was 15, and I still kept talking to her.
This side is where content creators who initially seem entertaining and engaging unveil themselves as problematic individuals with intentions far darker than their followers could ever imagine. Today we delve into the disturbing case of one such individual, a seemingly charismatic influencer who rose quickly to TikTok stardom only to crash and burn under the weight of his reprehensible behavior. This is the story of Gemini Official, also recognized by his alias, the Peppermint Guy.
Official Peppermint.
He asked me to come over.
Decided to give me a second chance.
Gemini Official began his TikTok journey amidst a flurry of enthusiasm and creativity. Initially, his content was filled with lighthearted humor, engaging skits, and energetic lip syncs.
When I do it, I just it's like
This quickly gained him a considerable following, and he became a recognizable name on TikTok seemingly overnight. His fun-loving nature and entertaining videos resonated with a wide audience. During this time, Gemini inadvertently stumbled upon the peppermint trend, a viral moment on TikTok, which propelled him further into the spotlight. The trend, which involved a catchy song and quirky dance, was embraced by numerous creators and mimicked across the platform. This viral sensation solidified Gemini's place as a notable influencer, and for a while it seemed like his TikTok career was destined for greatness. Despite his apparent success, 2020 marked a turning point for Gemini Official, revealing a much darker side to his story. Allegations began to surface about his misconduct, eventually tainting his reputation irreparably. Prominent among these allegations were grave accusations against him involving inappropriate interactions with underage girls. The first of these allegations emerged in August 2020 when a young TikTok user named Ruby bravely came forward with her story. In a series of videos, she detailed how Gemini had messaged her on TikTok. Despite knowing she was only 16 years old, Ruby's account included information about how Gemini had FaceTimed her.
That is literally flirting with minors. Last night he would not stop harassing me to FaceTime him, and I obviously did not want to. Last night you can see that he really wanted to FaceTime me, and I didn't want to. FaceTime me. Come on with the FaceTime. FaceTime.
Her revelations were met with disbelief and skepticism from some sectors of the TikTok community, influenced by Gemini's considerable fan base and his efforts to discredit her claims. Gemini himself responded in a calm and confident demeanor, painting himself as the victim and accusing Ruby of seeking attention through slander.
So, to further explain my reasoning, nowhere in Ruby's page or on her Instagram description or anything does she say that she's 16. If I had known that, none of this would have ever happened in the first place. And it should have never happened, but I don't watch Ruby's videos, so I would have never known. She followed me one day, so I followed her, and that's how it was. I invited her to be in this TikTok house, but then she told me that her parents wouldn't let her. And I was like, okay, that's it. We never talk. Me and Ruby never talk. So all this was super weird that she just randomly started flirting with me. And also, all those screenshots were before I had asked her. I love how she didn't screenshot me asking her how old she was and telling her that she needs to stop. So this is literally they're setting me up. It was literally a setup, so I never knew. Just wanted to let y'all know. I literally don't do controversy, so I just want to spread love, positivity, make people happy.
His video rebuttals failed to provide any solid evidence, yet they convinced many of his followers who rallied to his defense. This manipulation was highly effective, as his followers largely ignored the red flags that Ruby's story presented. As the discourse around these accusations grew louder, more individuals who had interacted with Gemini began sharing their own experiences. These revelations further illuminated his predatory behavior. Several other young girls came forward, revealing their unsettling encounters with him.
In later February, I would try to not talk to him. You can see already, I'm genuinely uncomfortable. You can tell, like, then read the rest of it, you can.
Many of these incidents echoed Ruby's story, a pattern where Gemini leveraged his influence to engage in inappropriate behavior with minors, often inviting them to collaborate under dubious circumstances. Among those who shared their stories was a 15-year-old named Lily. Her accusations were particularly serious, detailing an encounter where Gemini had allegedly manipulated her, knowing full well her age.
Months ago, there was a creators event going on in Los Angeles that Gemini was attending. And I had Gemini on Snap, and he asked me to come over. The first night he asked me to come over, it was a Thursday, and I said no because I had school the next day. And then the next day he asked me again to come over, and I told him I couldn't go over there, I couldn't drive because I was 15, and I told him that. And a few hours later, around midnight, he asked me to come over again and offered to get me an Uber. I was already in a pretty bad mental space at the time, and I had just had something happen that day that put me into an even bigger hole. So in a moment of weakness, I agreed, and I got in the Uber and I went over there. Now, I'm not going to go into details as of what happened in the hotel, but you can probably imagine.
Unlike previous allegations, this time Gemini admitted to his misconduct and issued an apology. However, this apology, laden with excuses and an appeal to mental health struggles, seemed more like an effort to salvage his public image than a genuine expression of remorse.
Guys, so I'm just gonna make a series of videos just explaining and owning up and taking accountability. As many of you know, there's been a bunch of drama going down, particularly with this girl named Lily. Now, I'm not gonna explain the story because I'm sure that there's many stories around everyone's accounts or on people's Twitches or whatever, but basically I got with this girl and she's 15 years old. Now, I do want to say that I really didn't know that she was 15 when I got with her, but I paid for her Uber, she came and hang out with me, we got with each other, and that was a situation. After the fact, I found out that she was 15 and I still kept talking to her. So much so that I asked to FaceTime fuck, which is completely disgusting.
Throughout his various apologies and explanations, Gemini's pattern of deflection and manipulation became apparent. Instead of accepting full responsibility for his actions, he continued to project an image of innocence, attempting to gain sympathy from his audience. The response from the TikTok community was mixed. While many creators and users sided with the victims and called out Gemini's inappropriate behavior, others fell prey to his convincing veneer of victimhood. Influential creators such as Papa Gut and Miss Bruno took a stand.
Seeing as videos of this nature have been taken down multiple times by TikTok, I'm going to say this once and I'm going to say this loud and clear. And if this gets taken down again, I will repost it over and over and over until I am banned from posting, because I won't allow this man to go by on this app unpunished and unscathed. Gemini official, you disgust me. You took advantage of a 15-year-old girl, a child. You lied to me and manipulated me into believing you and taking your side, and then you blamed your actions on her. You don't deserve your platform, you don't deserve your wealth, you don't deserve your success, you don't deserve sympathy, you deserve nothing. You have abused the power of your platform to use children for your own sick desires. Never, ever speak to me again.
Gemini official. I have a very deep involvement with this. Because a lot of people always go, why did Gemini? Why Gemini and not Tony Lopez? It infuriates me to no end because a lot of people I know have been deplatformed by going after Gemini. I lost a lot of, I guess you'd call it, traction. I didn't, whatever. I got multiple reports and whatnot for going after him. A lot of people spoke up. It took a tremendous amount of effort just to get him off of social media. So you need to understand that Gemini Official may be the worst person on this list.
I don't
only comparable to
understand
EDP.
why people are not going after this person like with pitchforks.
Utilizing their platforms to expose his actions and advocate for those affected. They consistently attempted to raise awareness about Gemini's misconduct, aiming to protect other potential victims from falling into similar situations. Unfortunately, TikTok's moderation system seemed ill-prepared to handle such controversies. Many creators who spoke out against Gemini found their content flagged or removed, while Gemini himself was initially allowed to maintain his platform. This created a perception that TikTok's algorithms were more interested in maintaining popular accounts than protecting vulnerable users. Despite attempts at damage control, the backlash eventually proved too overwhelming for Gemini Official. His TikTok account was eventually banned permanently and he retreated from the public eye. Yet, this was not the end of his presence on TikTok. In 2021, he made an attempt to stage a comeback under a new account, hoping to reclaim his place in the community. However, the collective memory of the TikTok community, now wiser to his manipulative tactics, quickly led to this account being shut down as well. The saga of Gemini Official serves as a stark reminder of the potential for misuse of power and influence on social media platforms. It exposes the fragility of online stardom and how quickly the tide can turn when the truth emerges. Gemini's story underscores a broader issue within social media landscapes, where young influencers often find themselves in positions of power that they are ill-equipped to handle responsibly. This power dynamic becomes particularly dangerous when it involves interactions with minors. It also highlights the challenges platforms face in safeguarding their communities, ensuring they do not become breeding grounds for predatory behavior. The ease with which Gemini initially navigated these spaces and the difficulty in removing such figures bring into question the effectiveness of platforms like TikTok in self-regulating. As social media continues to evolve, it becomes increasingly essential for both platform providers and users to foster safer online environments. For parents, educating children on the potential dangers of social media interactions and encouraging critical thinking regarding the intentions of influencers is invaluable. Ultimately, a Gemini Official's meteoric rise and fall is not just a cautionary tale for the influencers themselves, but also a critical lesson for the communities that support them. The story of Gemini Official is a complex narrative of fame, manipulation, and eventual accountability. On the surface, his journey showcases the immense power of social media to craft identities and create larger-than-life personas, but beneath the glamour, it also exposes vulnerabilities within these platforms that can allow ill-intentioned individuals to thrive and exploit. As we continue to navigate the digital age, it becomes imperative to champion transparency, foster accountability, and cultivate environments where truth prevails over deception. The tales of those like Gemini serve as poignant reminders of the darker sides of digital fame, urging both consumers and creators alike to remain vigilant and informed. If you found this narrative insightful, please consider subscribing to our channel for more content that delves into similar issues. Let us know your thoughts on Gemini's story in the comments below, and crucially, continue the conversation on how we can all contribute to safer and more positive online communities.